Yes, men are abused emotionally, psychologically, financially, verbally, and sometimes physically. But the most common weapon used against men, humiliation. They told you men cannot be victims. They told you if a man is abused, he should man up. They told you strength means silence. They told you pain is weakness, especially if you are male. But today we are changing that narrative. We're telling the truth. Because domestic abuse does not have a gender. And suffering does not disappear just because society refuses to see it. After my last video on domestic abuse, many of you reached out quietly, privately, ashamed. Men who said, "This is happening to me too." Men who said, "No one would believe me." Men who said, "If I speak, I will be laughed at." So let's talk about it. Yes, men are abused emotionally, psychologically, financially, verbally, and sometimes physically. But the most common weapon used against men, humiliation. A man being constantly belittled, mocked for his emotion, insulted for not earning enough, called weak, useless, or not a real man, threatened with false accusation, threatened with losing access to his children, no bruises, no siren, just fear. Picture this. A man who works, provides, he's trying, yet he is constantly told he is nothing. A man whose partner controls the narrative, twists every argument, and convinces him he is always the villain. A man who is denied peace in his own home. A man who is mocked for crying, punished for setting boundaries, and shamed for speaking up. And when he finally opens his mouth, society says, "How can a woman abuse you? You are bigger than her. You are a man, handle it." So he shuts down, he isolates, he numbs himself, he stays silent. Let's talk about emotional abuse against men because it is rarely acknowledged. Constant criticism, public disrespect, weaponized sarcasm, undermining masculinity, using intimacy as a tool of control, using children as leverage, gaslighting him until he doubts his own sanity. That is definitely abuse. And then there's financial abuse, which men also experience more often than people admit. Partners who drain accounts, control spending, create debt in his name, threaten to ruin him financially if he leaves, use money to dominate, punish, or even embarrass him. That is definitely abuse. Let's talk about the psychological warfare. A man who lives in constant tension, who walks on eggshells, who anticipates anger before it happens, who apologizes just to keep the peace in the home, who no longer recognizes himself. That slow erosion of identity, that is definitely not marriage. That is what I call trauma. The most dangerous part is men are far less likely to even report abuse. Not because it hurts less, but because the shame is heavier because he's a man. Many men stay because they fear being mocked, because they fear losing their children, because they fear not being believed, because they were taught that endurance is masculinity. And some don't just stay, some men actually break. So depression, addiction, emotional numbness, and yes, sometimes they contemplate suicide. Let me say this clearly, without any form of apology. A home that destroys a man's mental health is not a safe home. This is not about attacking women, definitely not. This is not about competing pain. This is about truth. Women can be abusers, men can be victims, and silence helps no one. If you are a man watching this, and this feels familiar, you are not weak. You are not less of a man. You are not imagining it, and you deserve safety, respect, and peace. And if you're someone who dismisses male pain, who laughs at it, who weaponizes gender to excuse cruelty, This message is for you too. Abuse does not become acceptable because of who commits it. No. Harm does not stop being harm because of who receives it. We need a new conversation, one where men are allowed to speak, one where pain is not gendered, one where accountability applies to everyone. Because domestic abuse is not about strength, it's about control. And control can wear any face, be it male or female. If you have witnessed or experienced abuse as a man, emotional, psychological, financial, or physical, you are definitely not alone. Share your thoughts in the comments if you feel safe to. Let's keep this space honest, respectful, and human. And if this message matters to you, please share it. Someone you know may be silently suffering. Subscribe if you believe truth, healing, and uncomfortable conversations save lives, because silence doesn't make men stronger. It just makes the damage deeper. And truth gives people permission to actually survive. My name is Leticia Edirin. This is a space where truth is spoken, silence is broken, and healing begins. Unfiltered, uncensored, unapologetic.